Hello, my name is John Bryant. I am an interviewer for the Public Library of Cincinnati and Hamilton County. I am interviewing Herman Krieger on May 3, 2007 at the main library. Our camera operator today is Dennis Daly. Also present with us today is Dovian Krieger. Mr. Krieger, what were you doing just prior to going into the Army, and how did you come to go into the Army?
Well, prior to going into the Army, I was living in Washington, D.C. I had a job with the Census Bureau, and we were doing some work there. And I was with them for about 8 months before I went into the Army. But the point was, I can't remember too much about what I was doing, except that I used to spend time in Washington on the census. We were checking the census sheets that came in from all over. It was 1940 census, and I was working on that. I had a certain job to do. And the first thing I found out was that in October of 1940, I signed up for the draft. They were drafting, and I got a number, but didn't know anything about it. And then in the first part of 41, I found out that of all the people that I was working with in Washington that I knew, I had the lowest number, or the earliest call for it. And so on March 17th, I was drafted.
So you said you were drafted, you did not enlist?
Oh, no, I didn't enlist. No, as a matter of fact, they asked me to go in the Friday before, but I begged off saying that I had a job, not a job, but an exam that I was going to take. I was only going in for 1 year, that was a whole bit. 1 year of it. So I took this test on Saturday morning. That would be the 15th of March. I went to I asked them if I could take that exam, because when I came out of the Army in 1 year, I might stand pretty good in getting a civil service job. And that was it. And in addition, the fact that my girlfriend had a problem that Saturday night, and I didn't want to tell her, or didn't know that I was going to be drafted before that. So I was hoping I could squeeze everything in, come in a day late, and come in to the Army a weekend later. And I went to the prom, and then Monday I was drafted into the Army.
And once you were drafted, where did you go for your basic training?
Fort Monroe, Virginia.
Fort Monroe?
Fort Monroe, Virginia.
Anything that you remember about basic training that stands out in your mind?
Well, the mere fact that I met so many wonderful people my age, that were drafted from into the Army at that time, and we had basic training that was real good. And then they found out that I was a graduate from the university, so they figured I could work in the office. So they let me take care of a lot of the things in the office at that time. And one of the things I did when I found out that they were also giving tests for officers candidate school,
Mhm.
but that was a long way off for a while. And I kept that in the back of my mind. That was the answer, that's all.
So you took the test for officers candidate school and obviously passed the test.
Yeah.
And how long?
Well, you see, before that time, the United States was in war,
Mhm.
and on December 1941, the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor and had World War. But I had already indicated my interest in becoming a commissioned officer and going to OCS.
Now, when you went in, you knew that you were being drafted, and that was a one-year commitment, you thought. When you decided to go to officer school, that one-year commitment.
Oh, by that time, December the 1941, everybody knew that this is until the end of the war.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody figured that.
That you just had that one-year commitment. So then you decided you took the test for OCS, of course passed it. Where did you do your officer's training?
In Oak Ridge, Tennessee.
Now, is that the...
Your officer's training was in North Carolina.
OCS.
Wilmington.
North Carolina.
Well,
Anyway, I can't remember too well, but I was transferred to the OCS, Officers Candidate School,
mhm.
for 3 months.
3 months, okay.
And at the end of 3 months, they put my gold star on, the gold bar over there.
Mhm.
So I became an officer.
So you became a second lieutenant.
Officer and gentleman,
An
yeah,
officer and a gentleman.
that's right.
Once you came out of officers candidate school, now you're second lieutenant Krieger.
Right.
Where did you get reassigned, or did you get an assignment?
Well, I was first assigned in Oak Ridge.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you did your OCS training in Wilmington, North Carolina, and upon completion of that, you were assigned to Oak Ridge, Tennessee.
No, Herman, you're confused.
Oh, I went,
Oak Ridge came in after you went back to work. I'm sorry.
No problem.
I'm sorry.
no, you can help me out.
You were in officer candidate school in North Carolina.
Right. And then they
And
transferred.
then from there, you,
Where did I go after that?
Huh?
They went right to,
You didn't go to Oak Ridge. Oak Ridge came in 1952, 10 years later.
anyway,
When did you, do you remember when you went to North Africa?
in the next year, in April or so.
April of 43, he went to North
April of
Africa.
43, that's right.
Yeah.
April of 43, I was transferred, or I was told that I had to go overseas.
Mhm.
And I went to Oran, and
So then you're in North Africa,
yeah,
and at that time, General Patton was chasing the Germans across North Africa.
Mhm.
Were you involved in any way with George Patton? What role did you play?
I had nothing to do with Georgie at that time because I was busy setting up anti-aircraft guns in North Africa, around in Oran, where the seaports there. I had four 40mm Bofors, 40mm guns that we set them up in different parts of the city at that time for the anti-aircraft protection.
Pointed toward any of the German planes that might be coming in.
Yeah.
Did you ever fire them or have to use them?
Oh, sure, we did. As a matter of fact, there was one time when I know we hit one, and it went down.
Mhm.
And to get credit for it, or to indicate, I had to climb with one of the sergeants in the outfit, because he was out in charge of that, the gun position that shot the plane down. We went up to, climbed all the way up to the top of the mountain there in order to find out where the plane went down, and we did find it, and they gave us credit for shooting down a German FW-190.
So, for all your time in North Africa, were you involved with strictly with the anti-aircraft artillery? That was your.
We set up our guns at the place where we were told the Germans were going to send over their FWs,
Mhm.
W-190s, and so that's what we did. And as a matter of fact, besides that one that we know we shot down, and that I went to identify, there may have been others, but we never could get credit for it because either we hit the plane and it flew away or ducked, and we never went to find. But this one we decided to go look for it, and we found it and got the okay that this was a plane
That you were responsible for downing.
Yeah.
So all this time is taking place. George Patton and his tanks and all that are engaged in the warfare with Rommel in the desert there. You had no contact with that though.
No, General Patton, the only time we got to do anything for him is when, after we got to France. We went all the way through Italy, and we were stopped at Monte Cassino because of the fact that the Germans had that whole church building protected. They were there, and we couldn't get them out, but we went all the way up to Rome. But after we got to Rome, and there was nothing north of Rome that we had to worry about, they sent us to southern France. Mm-hmm. And when we got to southern France, I became part of a outfit that was busy bringing equipment to the soldiers that were fighting in Patton's people and any of the others that were up there.
So you moved from being an anti-aircraft attackers to a supply.
Well, mostly because we see our outfit always had 2.5-ton trucks to pull the 40mm Bofors, and so we had all of that supply. We didn't need any more, or we didn't need, but the anti-aircraft were doing pretty good dispersing the planes at that time, so that we were not needed as far as setting up our anti-aircraft. So all we did then was use our 2.5-ton trucks
to deliver supplies.
That's right.
Did you have a sense that the United States was winning the war?
Oh, we knew we were moving because in Italy, we moved pretty much up to from Salerno all the way up to north of Rome, and the only problem is that there was pockets, like I said, when we couldn't disperse the things, the enemy at the monastery there. That's where they were staying.
Once the war, do you remember the D-Day?
Mm-hmm.
What was that like?
Well, the important things were that we were moving into Rome at about that time. Italy, Rome, D-Day, that's right. And we realized that the military is going to be able to go home pretty soon. And we're looking forward to it. And everybody was checking their books to see how many days they had, or how long it would be before that outfit that they were with would get the order to move.
As the war ended, there were a lot of displaced persons, a lot of concentration
that's what we
camps and
had.
refugees. Did you have anything to do with that?
Oh, yes, we did. This is one thing we found out a lot about. We even adopted some young boys who helped us in the working in the kitchen and what have you. But we were able to get a lot of information about where people were being kept, and as the areas were overrun, we overran them. And, a lot of these people we were able to either bring them into our outfits and give them some jobs that we could put them to. You know, a lot of mostly the men. We had the men helping with working on the areas that had to be fixed up and what have you. And the women, we had very little to do with. I mean, they kept to themselves, and a lot of times the organization that was handling displaced people took care of them.
Did you have any sense of the magnitude of the atrocity?
I can show you in that book that we were able to, when I got to Nuremberg, in Germany, we found so much as far as what the atrocities were, where the people were buried and what have you, that they had killed and what have you. So we did that, but it's something that it's hard to mention it now, but I can remember the first time, and it's in that book over there. I got all pictures of the various
Did did you get pictures of the actual camp itself, or the persons walking
People,
along the road?
yeah,
Just
people, yeah,
people walking along the roads in a sort of weakened conditions and all
Oh,
that?
yeah, sure. And at that time, there was a lot of things trying to do to either find them the kind of work that they could do for somebody to get them a little better, but that's about it.
Mhm.
And I can tell you that as far as the numbers, they were uncountable. We would always, I'm just thinking back now to some places when we would go we were in Germany for a while,
Mhm.
and you would find an area where these people were being, been released by some of the other army organizations there, and they really needed as much help as they could get, because they were really in bad shape, and we saw them in all, like I said, in all different conditions.
Okay. That's just a dim memory or something that persons much younger than you and I read about in the history books, but they really don't have a understanding at all of.
No, I have signal call pictures of these atrocities.
Mhm.
And so many of them, we saw a lot of them at that time, were unable to even navigate, they couldn't walk.
Mhm.
But by and large, a lot of them managed to, when the war was over, there were various organizations that came to their aid.
Okay, let me take you back just a second. You went in the Army in 1942,
41.
41,
I was overseas in October of 1942.
and you went overseas in 1942, but by the time you go overseas, now you're an officer.
Right.
And you were there from 1942 to 1945.
Yeah.
So now it's getting time for you to think about going home. And you're sort of counting and
Mhm.
so where did you come back to the States? Where did you land?
Hampton Roads, Virginia.
Hampton, you knew that right off the top of the bat.
Yeah.
And so you get back to Virginia,
Yeah.
and you've got family in New York.
New York.
They know you're coming?
This kid read the New York Times, and she found out that my outfit was supposed to be coming back at a certain time, but I never wanted to tell him because I wanted to surprise him, because I figured it was pretty much in October of 1945.
45.
And October 22nd was my birthday,
Mhm.
and I wanted to surprise him on my birthday. And that's it. So I didn't say a word until I got home and talked to this little girl over there, tell her that I'm back again.
And what did she say?
What did you say, Butch?
Hmm?
What did you say when I called you?
Where the hell are you?
And so she said, "Where in the hell are you?" And what did you say?
I'm home.
And,
And she was at work.
Yeah.
yeah,
But you're now at home in New York, Brooklyn. And how long before you're officially released from the Army?
They kept me in there until about January
Of
1946,
1946.
yeah.
Right. So you got back to the States essentially until the latter part of 1945, and you're officially out of the military in January of 1946.
Right.
But you came back just about the time of your birthday.
Right.
Question. Who was Leo DeRocha?
Why?
Do you know Leo DeRocha?
Sure, I saw him play ball. What do you mean? I'm a Brooklyn Dodger fan.
You're a Brooklyn Dodger fan.
Right.
And so the young lady over there, she's a
Bronx.
Bronx fan. So how is it possible for a Dodger fan and a Yankee fan to hook up and make all this work? How long have you been married?
61 years.
61 years. And do you root for the Dodgers out in LA?
Yeah,
And she roots for the Yankees in New York?
yeah.
But it still works.
That's right.
Okay.
No, that was it. You should have been there in 1947. The Yankee
The Yankees and the Dodgers played in the World Series.
World Series. Boy, I'll tell you. Joe DiMaggio hit a ball. My arm still hurts from that. He hit a ball into the field over there, and old GM Frito caught it. And it was a big out, and she couldn't believe it. She couldn't believe it that here was a guy, Joe DiMaggio hit a home run ball, but it was caught.
And then GM Frito was the outfielder that caught it.
Yeah.
So you still remember. It's still painful too, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that's all right. No, but we still have certain differences between us.
In the Army, you were an anti-aircraft commander or
I was in charge of 8 gun positions.
Once you're discharged, you have no additional connections other than being in the reserves with the military. You switched fields. I think you told me because you said you became a public health administrator.
Public health, yeah, U.S. public health, yeah.
So how did you make that transition?
Well, it was you take a civil service examinations, you know, and I took a civil service examination, and I did pretty well on the thing, and they asked me if I moved to Cincinnati, Ohio.
So that's how you got to Cincinnati from New York.
Yeah, oh sure. Oh yeah. And it was a rough thing. We just got married. I was just at home, and we told her parents, my parents, that we're going out west. And you should have been at the airport in the train station. My dad was in and out of the plane, in and out of the train, making sure that I didn't make a mistake and want to go to someplace else and say instead of New York, you know. But anyway, that was all. Everything was fine, and like I say, after the Army, I I spent 40 years with the Public Health Service, and they transferred me to Los Alamos, New Mexico, to Oak Ridge, Tennessee, and back to Cincinnati, and we've been in Cincinnati ever since.
So Cincinnati's home now.
Oh, yeah.
So you root for the Reds.
Oh, yeah, we root for the Reds. But it's not the same thing. When the Reds play the Dodgers, I just don't feel right saying that I'm for the Reds, but that's about it.
So once a Dodger, always a Dodger.
That's right.
You bleed Dodger blue.
That's right.
So you retired from the public health service now and all that.
I've been retired since 1980.
So you've been retired for a while from the public service, from the public health service.
1980.
Anything that you can think of, or that Dobian can think of, that we left out of the military career that you would like to put in?
No, I don't think there's anything like that. My military career, like I say, I went overseas unattached. I became attached to organizations for a short period of time in North Africa, in Italy, and France, and Germany. But the last place I got, they transferred us to the this is 66,
64?
64, I think.
Okay. How did you get your training in anti-aircraft warfare?
Oh, that's basics. You go to basic training when you are.
During the officers training camp?
No.
Before that? When you-
Oh yeah, long before that. When I was in
Basic training.
Fort Monroe and Camp Pendleton in the United States there, before I went into the OCS, you get all of these various courses that you take, and I took them with no ulterior motive. I mean, I wasn't interested in, I just wanted, when can I get out of the Army, you know, that was all. But they all helped me, especially when I got into OCS, and I had, the OCS is not only platoon work, but a lot of class work, school work, and there was things that were really, really important that I had learned in my basic training.
And it was never your intent to make the military a career?
No, listen, I couldn't wait to get home, so, because I had a girl waiting for me, and I wanted to at least get squared away with that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but no, I never had any idea about the military except the needs for the thing. And my 5 years with the Army were things that I think I did the best I could.
Anything that took place during the Army, that because you were, what, 22 or 23 when you went in, so you'd have been about 20 8 when you came out, something like that. Anything that you experienced or learned while you were in the Army during that time period that stuck with you, or made other than the atrocities that you saw?
Well, I'll tell you, the most important thing is to get along with your fellow man, to make sure that everyone that you were in charge of, like the people you were working for you or whatever, make sure that they had all the best information needed for what they were doing, and that you did not do anything wrong as far as they were concerned. You know, I enjoyed every one of the people that worked for me. Helped a lot of them in their setting up their organizations or whatever they had to do. And frankly, like I say, it's something that thanks to you, it brings back memories. Because something like this, I don't think about it anymore. But I still think of the fellows that were in the various parts of the organization that meant a lot for me at that time.
But once you left the military, you went on to other parts of your life and have not had military reunions or things of that nature.
No, I've gone back to a couple of meetings, you know, like that, but nothing that I was more interested more than just finding out what was going on. That's about it.
Again, if there is something that you think we should have covered that we haven't, I think we can let that come in. Otherwise, if you've told me all that you would like me to know, I want to thank you on behalf of the library and myself for a very enjoyable interview.
Well, I'm glad of that. And like I say, everything I have is in that little book over there.
Yeah, he kept a diary. I don't think you were in the room